Hey everybody, I have been trying to make this video for a couple of days, and it's just been thing after thing that has come up, and so I have pulled over at a gas station to get this shared, because it's really impressing on me, and I know that the Lord wants me to share this experience because it will encourage others that are in similar situations, because I know there are others that need to hear this. And so anyways, a couple of months ago, maybe 2-3 months ago now, I can't even remember for sure, but I shared a word that I woke up to the Lord speaking to me at, in the middle of the night. The video, if you want to go back and watch the details, is called Endure Through the Fire, I believe. And so I'm just, since the time when I made that video initially, I have gone through a process, and I have continued unpacking that word and had new revelation to that word. And although I understood what God was telling me at that time, I understand it in a different magnitude at this point. And so I just want to share so that someone else can be encouraged with it. So I woke up in the middle of the night hearing the Lord speak, endure through the fire, endure through the fire. It was very, very clear. And when this happened a few months ago, I had, about July of last year, I had this encounter with the Lord where I don't really know how to put it in simple words, other than I've known the Lord for a long time. I've been a Christian, I've believed and have been raised in church and all of that. But I've also, I'm not new to living in the Spirit or being aware of that lifestyle. But what happened in July was, it was like we had an encounter, and he awakened my spirit to a new level of understanding. He peeled back a new layer of the veil, and began calling me into where he's taking me. And so back in July and August, the end of last year, I really was just on fire. I was excited, he had showed me where I'm going. And so one thing I've learned about myself and the gifts that the Lord has given me, or given all of us, but ones that I've learned to use, is that I am a seer, and a lot of times he shows me things. And with this situation, he showed me where he's taking me. He awoke me to this new revelation and showed me where we're going, as far as like me and his relationship and the journey we're on. He showed me kind of the next level of where we're going. And so of course I was so excited. I'm on fire, ready to go. And he also was peeling off layers of bondage through those months, and just really beginning a process with me. And it was a few months into that, and that's when I woke up with that word, endure through the fire. And so I was in a place of just being on fire, radical, sold out for Jesus. And don't get me wrong, I still am. But shortly after I woke up with that word, things that were just recently really easy for me, like waking up at 3 and 4 in the morning to sit in God's presence and spend time with him, those things started becoming a little bit more difficult. I had to, put more effort into making myself want to get up. I mean, we are still human in flesh, and we're tired, and, life happens, and we get emotionally drained, physically drained. And so these things started catching up to me, and I started struggling with myself, because I'm like, why is this hard for me? Why is it hard for me to want to get up and sit with the Lord? I know that this is good. I know that's what I want to do. Why am I having such a hard time doing it? There was attack here, attack there, from the enemy, just little things throughout my day that he would use to throw my day off track, distract me. And of course, when you're in the middle of that, you don't see it for that. And I would tend to get caught up in the distractions and just things that were coming at me. And so I went from a really place of, just feeling feeling all the glory and all of God's presence for a few months as he was showing me where we're going. And then all of a sudden it started plateauing, kind of, if that makes sense, where it's just like God didn't leave, he didn't move, but the presence that I was feeling wasn't as strong. And so when he gave me that word to endure through the fire, I knew that we were about to go through a refining process. I knew that that's what he meant by it, and that he was going to have to, bring some stuff to the surface within my character and within my mentality. And, but I didn't know I didn't know exactly what that was going to look like. And through these last 2 or 3 months since he's given me that word, and I began to feel like I was plateauing, I have struggled with myself. The enemy has really tried to condemn me into, just trying to tell me things like I'm not going to be able to carry this call. I'm not strong enough. I'm not going to be righteous enough. And, you don't care enough to even get up in the morning, just all these things, these condemning thoughts that I didn't see it for what it was at the time. And so it would put me in a place of kind of like a rut, like, it's like I didn't feel like I was going anywhere. And so being on fire and then going to a place where you don't feel like you're going anywhere, it was a struggle for me. And shortly after that plateau began, one of the first things I began praying and asking for was for God to show me his heart. I want to be genuine and authentic, the real deal. I don't want to be someone who claims they know God and don't really know him, I want the real thing. And so I started asking him to show me his true heart. I've known you and I've heard about you and I've learned about you my whole life, but I really want to know you. And so he began showing me that, and he started showing me that. He started showing up to show me his heart when I was weak. And of course, a lot of us have probably heard that, that he works through our weakness, but he was literally showing me what that looks like. And so in my shortcomings and my my mistakes that I was making throughout the day, he would still show up and like give me a hug, or just in one way or another, whether it be somebody calling, somebody texting, and just him responding through someone else, because I couldn't feel his presence around at that time. But he was showing me that he never left, and that even though I wasn't measuring up to my expectation of where I should be, he still loved me and he was still with me, and the call was still mine. And I didn't feel like it, but I continued to believe it and know and to press on. And if I didn't get up in the mornings, I would I just continued on the best I could. I just kept striving and earnestly seeking after the Lord. I kept showing up at my women's group that we meet at. We have a great thing going with like the old Acts type of church that we meet on Mondays in a small group, and we just have church with each other, and new people come in, and God moves in that place. And that's one of my favorite times of the week, just to go and be with my ladies. But even though I was showing up there, I would still go home and struggle, and it's just, anyways, I was really hard on myself and down on myself, and the enemy was, using all of that to his advantage, and was really trying to keep me believing his lies, and just not feeling like I was ever gonna be able to handle this call. And looking back, what I'm getting at, my whole point here is that looking back, I couldn't have known, what enduring through the fire was going to look like. My fire might look different than your fire, but whatever it is that you're struggling with, I'm just here to share, just to keep your eyes on the Lord and keep pressing forward, even if you don't feel his presence, even if you don't feel like you're on track of following the call. You have to just know and trust and have faith that you're on the right track. God is not going to see one of his children earnestly trying their best with the strength that they have in that moment to seek after him and not do something with it. That's not the God that we serve. He's not going to say, oh, well, Amanda dropped the ball today, we're just going to move on to the next call. That's not who he is. This is a process that he was warning me I was about to go through. And through it, of course, through every single day, I have probably learned something new about myself and my flaws and where I need to condition my character. And I couldn't have learned these things had he not allowed me to go through it. And, you know, with his presence there, it's easy, right? But when we don't feel him, whenever we're feeling, you know, alone and weak and we don't have his presence there to carry us in a way that we can feel, I feel like that's where the pressure comes. That's where the diamond gets made. That's where the refining and the purifying comes, because it has to be our decision. He's not going to force us to answer our call. We have choices to make. And, you know, I look back now and I know that my Father is proud of me to this point, that even though I don't, you know, these last few months, I don't feel like I've done much to be proud of, because I haven't been sitting in his presence. I haven't been sharing my journey when I know he told me to share my journey on this channel. I have been distracted. I have been being condemned. I have been weak. But that is where I saw his heart. And that's the beauty of him, that he shows up in our weakness. And if we're strong and we're strong in his presence all the time, he shows up in our weakness. Okay. He shows up when we're weak, and that's where he can work the best. And so I just want to encourage anybody who is on this journey with the Lord, who is seeking after the supernatural, living in the Spirit, and awakening to their call, that it's not going to be easy, but God is with you, and he is not going to let you fall when you're serious about him. And he knows it. He knows that we're weak. He knows exactly where we're at. When he calls us, he knows where we're at. And, you know, in that moment of glory, when I was in the glory a few months prior to the endure through the fire word, I felt like there was nothing that could hold me back from just running. There was nothing that could hold me back from being able to get up in the mornings and sit in his prayer. You know, just anyways, when his presence got lesser, so that I could grow. He steps back so that we can grow and we can make choices. And, you know, what glory does he really have if his presence shows up on us and we run after the call and his presence just stays there and it's easy? Where's the glory for him in that? You know, we have to want to be in relationship with him. He's not going to force us. He let me see the new revelation and the glory and where we're going, so that I could have a taste of it and see that it's good, and that I could make the choice on my own. Do I want to go this way with God? Or is it easier just to stay where I'm at? Is it easier just to keep dealing with these mindsets and strongholds and you know, attitudes, or whatever it is for you? Is that easier? Or is it easier to keep striving after what God showed me and where he's trying to take me? It may not feel like it's easy, you know. But anyways, just be encouraged that if you are going through the fire right now, you are exactly where you're supposed to be. And regardless of what the enemy is trying to tell you right now, you're in God's will, and he's proud of you, and he is smiling upon you. And that is the parts of his heart that I have seen, because, you know, growing up in the church era that I grew up in, it's almost like I had this mindset about God that if we're not performing, if we're not measuring up, then we're letting him down. And that I've learned how much that takes away from what Jesus did on the cross for us, that there's nothing we could do to earn it. There's nothing that we can do. We're worthy because of Jesus and Jesus Christ alone. My God will love me whether I answer the call on my life or not. But that's where it's my choice that, you know, I don't want my call to pass me up. So I'm going to keep running after it, even whenever I don't feel his presence, even whenever the enemy's throwing fiery darts of lies at me. Just keep pressing in. Just keep pressing in. There's been several times where I just wanted to give up and say, I can't do this. I can't measure up. I don't know who I could share a story with and it really be helpful. You know, God can't even use me. I can't even, you know, keep myself together day to day. But, you know, the thing is that without the struggles, we wouldn't be where we're at today. And I'm just thankful, because without this process, it wouldn't be genuine. It wouldn't be authentic. It would be, you know, the, what's the word I'm looking for? It would be counterfeit. And so I'm thankful that he's allowing me to see these flaws and see my weaknesses, so that he can show me and teach me how to be strong in my identity through him. And anyways, it couldn't have been done without this process. So whatever your fire looks like, whatever you're struggling with, whatever the enemy is trying to use against you to keep you convinced that you're not going to be able to do this for God, that you are not going to be able to help anybody or answer the call that he has called, or that he has placed on your life, you can't believe it. You can't believe what the enemy says, and just, you have to know. That's why it's important to stay in your word and to know the Lord's word. So with all that being said, I want you to be encouraged and keep striving, keep pressing, and it was interesting just this morning, Lana Verser, I'm sorry, I'm probably messing up her last name, but she is just a beautiful woman of God that is from Australia, I believe, very prophetic. And she shared on Facebook today a prophetic word that she got that is very on point with, it lines up with this word here, and it just confirmed for me. That was kind of what pushed me to make some time today to get this video out, just because it absolutely confirmed what God has been putting on my heart about sharing this process. And anyways, if you have Facebook, go look her up, go find that status from today where it's just talking about to just keep pressing in, because when you say yes, God is going to use that. So anyways, be blessed, be encouraged, and I am going to attempt to stay on track and be more consistent with sharing my videos, just because the enemy has really distracted me from doing that and feeling like I had anything worth sharing. But I know, because of how much God has burdened me with making this video, that somebody needs to be encouraged by it. I don't know if I would have made it through the other end of this testing of faith if he had not given me that word, because I have gone back to that so much, like, God, okay, I'm trying to endure through the fire. Is this the fire? Because I'm really not sure what the fire was supposed to look like, but it is. And he's told me that and confirmed that over and over. And we all have to go through a purifying process. It doesn't mean that you're behind, you're delayed. None of that. You're exactly where you're at in his will, and this is the time to go through this process, and just know that you're going to come out on the other side with breakthroughs and just as a new person. So just keep enduring, keep the faith, and have a great day.